Hi, welcome to Cool Guy Podcast YouTube channel.
The Amazon is vanishing. Are we next?
Today, we're plunging into something pretty urgent. The massive deforestation happening in the Amazon.
Yeah, and the sources we've looked at are, they're stark. The central fact driving all of this is just the scale of the risk.
It's huge. We're already at, 17% of the Amazon gone?
17%. And the science is predicting something truly terrifying. If we hit 25%, the whole rainforest could reach a tipping point.
And a tipping point isn't just more the same, right? It's a complete transformation.
Exactly. It's not a gradual decline. The whole system could just flip from this wet, incredibly biodiverse forest into a dry, inhospitable savanna.
Which is terrifying when you think about the global stakes. I mean, this forest stores over 150 billion metric tons of carbon.
Not to mention producing about 20% of the world's oxygen. Losing it just fundamentally rewrites the global climate equation.
And what's really striking is how this isn't some abstract future problem. The local consequences are happening right now.
Oh, absolutely. We read about that drought in Sao Paulo state, the worst in 80 years.
People literally filling up jerry cans for weeks because the reservoirs were, at 10% capacity?
Just 10% in one case. And you have to ask, okay, so why is a drought happening 1,500 miles away from the main deforestation?
Right. How are those two things connected?
Well, the science is actually really clear on this. The forests have this innate ability to import moisture. They basically create their own weather.
So you chop down the trees, you break the rain machine.
You break the entire climate mechanism, and now those water shortages are so bad they're actually threatening the whole Brazilian economy. Power cuts, rationing. It's a huge deal.
So if the consequences are so dire, you have to follow the money. What is the engine behind all this clearing?
It's overwhelmingly cattle ranching. About 70% of the deforestation in Brazil comes down to creating pasture for cows.
And the economics are just, they're hard to argue with from a purely financial perspective.
They're remarkable, really. In the Amazon, you can support 30 cows on 15 acres. In Texas, that same land might support just one cow.
And this wasn't an accident. There were historical policies that actually encouraged this, right? Like that Trans-Amazonian Highway in the 70s.
Yeah, that opened up huge, previously untouchable areas. But even recent regulations have struggled.
You mean like the soy moratorium?
Yeah.
That sounded like a success at first.
It was. It cut deforestation from soy by 85%. But, and this is the crucial loophole, farmers just switched. They cleared the land anyway and just planted other crops instead of soy.
So the net forest loss just kept going.
Exactly. It showed that these industry-led agreements just weren't enough. Which brings us to the political response.
Right. The election of President Lula, he ran on a huge environmental platform.
A pledge of zero deforestation by 2030. And the early numbers are positive, a 34% drop in the first 6 months he was in office.
But can politics alone counter those huge economic incentives we were just talking about?
That's the billion-dollar question. And it's why other solutions are being pushed so hard, like looking at what already works.
Indigenous reserves.
Indigenous reserves.
Yeah.
The best preserved parts of the Amazon are in their hands. They're protecting something like 22% of the world's key biodiversity areas. It's a proven model.
We're also seeing these really innovative financial models like that Conserve project.
Right, which actually pays landowners to keep forests standing even beyond what the law requires them to.
And that kind of sets them up for future carbon markets, right?
Yeah.
Protecting 60 to 150 tons of carbon per hectare. It's a direct incentive.
And then there's the international pressure. The EU is about to bring in these really tough restrictions on products linked to deforestation.
And this isn't just paperwork. They're planning on using satellite monitoring and, DNA tracing.
DNA traceability to actually confirm a product like soy or beef didn't come from a deforested area. It adds real teeth to the regulation.
Which is such a contrast to the voluntary corporate pledges we've seen.
Oh, the greenwashing is a huge problem. You have big groups like the Consumer Goods Forum making these zero deforestation promises, but the follow-through just isn't there.
They don't track their suppliers properly?
They lose visibility in the supply chain, and that's where the problem hides. So what this all points to is that there's no single magic bullet.
You need everything working together. International demand, local governance, and real enforceable incentives.
Because failure here isn't just an environmental issue, it's an economic and humanitarian catastrophe awaiting to happen.
So that brings us to our final thought. We know the Amazon Fund exists. financed by international donors. But allocating that money gets really controversial. There was a plan to use some of it to build a 900-kilometer road right through the rainforest.
A plan that some donors understandably opposed.
Exactly. So here's the question for you to think about. If the whole world agrees the Amazon has to be saved, who should get the final say on how the money and resources to do it are actually spent? We'll leave you with that until our next deep dive.